US and China are locked in an escalating tariff war sparked by aggressive trade measures introduced on what President Trump called Liberation Day. The tariff increases on all other countries, which came into effect yesterday, have since been suspended for 90 days. Negotiations with these countries should take place over the next few months with the aim of reaching lower tariffs. But China-US relations remain strained after the 104% US tariff on Chinese goods took effect on April the 9th. And then China retaliated, levelling an 84% tariff on US products starting April the 10th. Well, it didn't stop there. Trump responded with another increase on China's tariffs, taking it to a whopping 125%. Meanwhile, the tit-for-tat moves are set to disrupt global trade flows, hitting exporters on both sides and increasing pressure on key industries like agriculture and manufacturing. With little diplomatic engagement so far, uncertainty is mounting, though analysts say the possibility of a negotiated trade agreement remains on the table. We now cross to our international correspondent in Hong Kong, Laura Westbrook. Good afternoon. How has China responded to this latest tariff hike?
Well, we have heard from China's foreign ministry spokesman who has spoken to reporters in a daily press briefing, and he has said that he was asked if there was any negotiation between these two countries, and he said that pressuring, threatening and extorting China is not the right way to deal with us. He said that if the US wants to talk, it should show an attitude of equality, respect and mutual benefit. He also reiterated that what we've heard in recent days, that if the US wants to continue this trade war, that China will not back down. So there are signs there from Beijing that it is open to talks to resolve some of these differences, but it is also not backing down and doesn't seem to be in a hurry. Now, one economist told me that what we are seeing in between the world's two largest economies is essentially a decoupling with this 125% tariff by the US. And so with China, we are seeing Beijing looking to try to deepen ties, especially in the region. President Xi Jinping is expected to make a trip to Vietnam, Cambodia and Malaysia to try to deepen some economic ties with those countries. And there was also a phone call between Premier Li Qiang and the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen as well, and these are seen as efforts by China to try to protect and support its economy. It's also putting there are also expectations of fiscal stimulus as China tries to support its domestic economy to try to mitigate some of the impact from these tariffs. But of course, with China's exports to the United States being so large, it has been a bright spot for China's slowing economy, and so this is going to hit China.
What are we seeing on the Asian markets today?
Well, we have seen markets in Asia really breathing a sigh of relief, a sea of green here in the region. Many indices ending the day up. Japan very much leading the way, with Japan Nikkei 225 closing up 9% higher. South Korea's Kospi also ending higher, as well as the Taiwan TAIEX ending a record up 9.3%. So these numbers really reflecting optimism here as some countries turn to possible negotiations and deals now that there is this 90-day pause on this so-called reciprocal tariffs. Meanwhile, markets on mainland China perhaps a little bit muted. China, of course, has not received a reprieve from President Trump. The CSI 300 index rose 1.3%, while here in Hong Kong, the Hang Seng index also ended up around 2%, paring back a little bit of those losses that we saw on Monday when the Hang Seng index fell some 13%, its steepest single-day decline since the 1997 Asian financial crisis. So for other countries in the region, they will now be looking to try to do some deals now that there is this 90-day pause, and perhaps that's been reflected in the markets. Countries like South Korea and Japan, which are key US allies, they have been looking to start talks, as well as Vietnam. Vietnam was hit by particularly high tariffs of more than 40%. But countries like Japan, it said that it does welcome this pause, but it also said that it would like the Trump administration to reconsider tariffs on autos and the steel industry. There remains tariffs on these key industries that are a priority for the government, and so trying to get some of those trade barriers removed will also be a priority for Japan when it tries to negotiate with the Trump administration.
Well, thank you very much, Laura Westbrook, chatting to us from Hong Kong, our international correspondent.